Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about ready to get started. Thank you for your patience. I know I'm running slightly behind. We had a lot of incredible questions from the AMA, from PC Gamer, so huge amount of love from all of our folks over there. So I do appreciate you guys waiting to dive straight into the action here. We will be going in just one more moment. Okay, you know what? There's too many questions. We're going to go ahead and get started right now. Hello, welcome everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, all of you pilots who have just an aching for playing some EVERSPACE 2 and everything related to it. We are going live with our official Rockfish Games stream. I am your host, Eric Schrader, the community ambassador for Rockfish Games. I forgot to turn my other light on. Woo, that makes a big difference, doesn't it? That looks much cleaner on the webcam side. Oh my gosh. So give me 1 second as I close the door to my studio space. We're gonna immediately dive into some EVERSPACE 2, and I'm gonna let you guys choose the loadout for our ship. So I actually populated every single weapon that's available as of right now. And then I also wanna show you the correlation that the energy core can have with the balance of your weapons, your engines, and your shields. So give me 1 second. Okay, but in addition to that, in addition to just like starting off with this and diving straight into the game, I also want to again get a massive shout out to PC Gamer, who has just been awesome this week. We had a full-blown AMA over there, over 4,000 views, lots of people engaging, asking some really great questions. We're gonna get to several of those. I was hard at work trying to catalog the best ones, and there's too many. There's too many, that's the long story short. But I do have a couple that I've pulled out. We'll be going over those. I also have some fan art that I want to show you all of what you guys have been doing this week. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a really well-rounded conclusion for this week. And so we should have some fun in the process. Oh my goodness. So, so what we have here, we are flying a Sentinel-1. Pretty standard loadout options, truly. But I want to have specific weapons that you want me to use. So let's cover the realm of weaponry as of right now. These should look very familiar to any veteran EVERSPACE players. We have the railgun. This is your long-range sniping weapon. We have your pulse laser. It's your very standard pew-pew. It's really consistent, incredible against energy. We have your autocannon. It's your standard daka-daka, very powerful against kinetic. Your blaster, which is kind of an all-around, really. I know it looks like the energy DPS is massive there. It is, but this thing, when you're up close and personal, it wrecks no matter what, but it does have a really bad spread. Thermogun. This is your splash damage weapon, so it can hit multiple, or excuse me, no it's not. The thermogun is your tracking weapon. Your thermogun is your tracking weapon, so you lock onto your targets, you can fire it all around. Heat seeks your opponents, don't even have to worry about your aiming. It can be horrible and it'll still hit. Your beam laser, it's a very consistent weapon, all around consistency. In fact, you don't even have to track your target. It shoots exactly where you're pointing. Your coil gun, this is your ranged, shoots exactly where you're pointing weapon. It's a little bit more costly when it comes to energy, but really consistent damage as well. Your flat cannon, this is your area of effect one. Hey, yes, everyone loves a good flat cannon, especially Michael, my boss. And then finally, the scattergun, which is my personal favorite. This thing is insanely high damage, but you have to be in the fray. Like this is basically a shotgun in space. So you have to be really, really careful. Now, obviously, we're also avoiding any of the modifiers at the bottom. I just want you to think about the weaponry that you would like us to set up, because we've dove into a situation here where we are assaulting a little outlaw base for you guys. So it'll be good. I see more DACA in chat. I see flak attack. Oh my gosh, that's great. Been finding tier 11 and 12 weapons in the game. Yeah, Baldwin, it's gonna happen. Yeah, that'll happen. And don't worry, we're not done yet. Believe it or not, we're still working on the game. We're not pushing it out tomorrow. Don't worry. A lot of flak gang. Oh my gosh, I think we're gonna have to go with the flak. I see that way too much, so I'll do the flak. I'm seeing some beam lasers, some rail guns. Ooh, I'm seeing some good rail guns in the chat as well. Oh, also Michael actually said flak, so if I don't, I'm fired. Confirmed. So we have to use the flak, otherwise my job is in jeopardy. Let's see. I'm seeing a lot of railguns. I think we're gonna do railgun as well. So that's great. Also, as I'm going through and allowing you guys to choose these, I want to make it incredibly clear. We're also doing an AMA through the course of the stream. This is always a community stream every single Friday. You guys know that. At least you, the veterans, know that. If you're coming in new, know that we are doing live question answer time, okay? So the AMA from PC Gamer just ended, so we might have some folks coming over from there, so welcome. It's great to have you. I'm that big goofy guy who had that initial post and I was like, hey, I'm from Kansas. Yeah, that's me. That's me. Whoa, isn't that exciting? My throat's kind of gone. I've been talking a lot this week. Woo! I see some thermo gunners too. We'll keep that one on deck. We'll keep that one on deck. So now we have to choose 2 out of 3 of these secondaries. We have your homing missile launcher, we have your mine launcher, and we have your rocket launcher. What are the differences between these? Homing missile, it locks on. Does a lot of kinetic damage. Mine launcher, area of effect attack. Pretty decent all-around damage. Rocket launcher, really bad damage, but that's because you fire it rapidly, but it doesn't lock on. So missile launcher, mine launcher, or rocket launcher. Missile, mine, rocket. Those are your options. Please let me know. Okay, thank you. I'm already seeing some questions coming out over from YouTube, so that's awesome. Thank you for asking those questions. I see that Michael, he's the one who's under that Rockfish Games tag right there, saying coming to Xbox and PlayStation in 2022 for those who are curious, so excellent. Is there a setting for sharpness from soft and smooth to crisp and clear? I mean, there's gonna be a lot of options to tweak your graphical settings to your desires. So like if you're talking about anti-aliasing and whatnot, we do have those options. There's like, what's it called? Is it dithering? Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting my terms, okay? I'm just excited, this happens. But yeah, there are going to be a lot of flexible options to tweak and modify the graphical settings to your desires. We want to make sure that the game is incredibly playable for all kinds of consumers, not just the latest and greatest computer models and what's the latest graphics cards that are coming out soon. Oh my gosh, they look freaking insane. You're not gonna have to buy $2,000 worth of stuff into your PC in order to play our game at all. Like we are working very hard, very diligently to optimize so that you'll be able to play, even if your computer's a little bit dated. Should still be, we're shooting for minimal, like 1080p, 30 frames per second, even for somewhat dated PCs. Yeah, 3090, yeah. The big money boys, woo! Is this the community stream? Interesting. How's the German learning coming along? Ja! Das ist sehr gut. Still rough around the edges. But yeah, we're making a little progress here and there. All right, so let's dive right back into here. I want to complete our process of jumping on. I saw a lot of rocket and a lot of homing. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go with the homing and we're gonna go with the rocket. Mine launcher will get some love later, probably, maybe. So let's talk about an incredibly important item known as the the energy core. We have an Energizer SP, which is the unique manufacturer style of the energy core. But these come in a range of different properties, okay? And I'm not just talking about the modifiers below. I want you to look at the output for the weapons, the shield, and the boost, okay? Those big 3 numbers, the 57, 47, 47. What does that mean? how does that interact within the game world? Why should my energy core matter, and what do these numbers, like what does any of this matter to me? I'm gonna tell you right now, okay? That output for your weapons is how much energy that you are building back up per second, okay? 57 energy per second. This is important because after you fire your weapons, which have their own unique energy pools associated with them, you're gonna want them to charge back up. If you have a garbage energy core that doesn't charge your energy after you fired your weapons, you're not gonna have anything else to fire. Even if you're cycling between two weapons, you're gonna notice that one hasn't recharged all the way, even though your second one's completely drained. And you're gonna be stuck in a little bit of a bind. So what you can do is you can go after an energy core that specifically puts emphasis on your weapons. So this one gives you a boost up. This is one of 4 different types of energy cores, actually 5 different energy cores. Talking about 5 different energy cores, okay? This first one is basically the weapon-focused energy core. And this one, obviously, maximizes energy output for your weaponry, but it takes a hit regarding your shields and your boosting, okay? So if all you want to do is blast away, that's your option. But know that your shields and your engines are probably going to suffer a little bit for that. Your next option, of course, puts emphasis on your shields. That way, you can guarantee protection and absorb as many shots as possible for longer, because that's going to completely synergize with the shield that you're using, ensuring that the energy recovery is on point, right? But when you do that, you're going to have a lot less options regarding your weaponry and still your boosting. You're going to be a bigger target. You're going to be able to soak a little bit more since the focus is on shield, but there you go. And then last but not least, if you're like, you know what, I don't want to boost my shields because I just want to not get hit, there's also that option as well. You go for your focused boosting energy core option. And this makes all of it synchronized with your thrusters so that you get the maximum energy recharge rate out of those. In each one of these situations, your flashbacks to differential calculus. Don't worry, I promise you, it's easy, J Gnarl. I promise. It's really cut and dry here. Basically, what we're looking at is weapons, shield, boost. Choose one. There's also a balanced option, which I'm not showing here because as of right now, the Energizer SP is just better than it. The Energizer SP is a manufacturer bonus one where it's kind of like a middle ground, good at everything, but has just a little extra addition to weapons. So the Energizer SP made by Shiva is going to give you probably the biggest bang for your buck as of right now, at least. We'll see where development takes it. In addition to that, you might also notice that on this energy core in particular, this one's helping out boost. We do have that output at stop bonus, the 34.1% output at stop. What does that mean? That means that across the board, when you're at full stop, all of your values for energy recharge is increased by 34.1%. Is that pretty neat? That's pretty neat. That number could fluctuate as well. So maybe you don't really want to put a lot of emphasis on your boosting, but you do find yourself, you know, stopping and firing a lot. Maybe that could actually be your best option just for the situation at hand. So lots and lots and lots and lots of variety. This is just the energy core. Just the energy core base level stats, mind you, and we only talked about one bonus stat. Okay? So I hope that's showing you the depth that we're looking at inside of the itemization in EVERSPACE 2. Because I mean, there's a lot of different modules, there's a lot of different weapons. All of these can have unique modifiers and attributes and different manufacturer bonuses and caveats and like all of those different things that are going to help you figure out the direction you want to take. It's a lot. I know it's a lot. But trust me, it's not hard to calculate. It's just what you're finding, what your solution is. Take note of what you're picking up. It's not just as simple as looking at the big number going, oh, okay, that's big, I'm gonna use that. No, okay, like, I know you looter shooters out there, that's your mentality. Developers make it really nice and easy. It's like, oh, that's the big number. I'm looking for everything to modify that big number. There are a lot of hidden factors that help out a situation, and I'm just telling you, be mindful of those details, okay? All right, so In this case, we're using both our flail gun and our flak cannon, and our railgun are using, man, a flail gun? Suddenly I'm getting like this interesting idea of like grabbing a drone with your grapple and just like swinging it around to hit your foes. Okay, whew, that's a little bit out there. Anyway, our railgun and our flak, both of these have a really high energy capacity. You can see it's the second lowest one on the standard stats underneath, right? And then there's the energy consumption, how much it's using per fire. You can see that this railgun, it uses a lot of energy. A lot of energy, 31.3 per second, right? And the flak, it's actually a lot easier to use, but it doesn't do nearly as much damage, right? And the reason for that is like 91 to 93, what? It's just about the same. Well, the railgun does 700% increased damage if you fully charge it. So that's if you're like trying to rapid fire it. Railgun's not built for rapid fire. See, look, I'm already going off on these little tangents for these items because you have to observe all these stats. You have to realize how the weapon's being used. This is so important here. It's so important to look at the stuff that you find in a game that's all about the loot. You can't just make an assumption and scrap it because, oh, the number's -2. Trust me, that -2 could actually make or break the difference in your run. Okay. All right, so yeah, so we're gonna use this railgun and this flak. Both of these use a pretty decent amount of energy consumption. And we're gonna start off and we're gonna use the energy core to show you as an example of how efficient this makes our weaponry, for weapons specifically, but also hurts us regarding our shields and our boosts, okay? And then after we've done this for a little bit, we're gonna cycle this energy core out and we're gonna use maybe the booster one. I feel like that might be a good one so you can see how that allows us to navigate our situations as well. Woo! Okay, that was so much talking about one piece of equipment. Let's see what it does. So here, this is the flak cannon. It's got a nice area of effect attack. Not really the best towards a single target, but you can also kind of be bad at shooting it, as you can see here, and still get your shots because that area of effect attack. Nailed it. Pretty good. Now we're going to use our railgun. And this thing deals a massive amount of damage if you get it fully charged, but look at our energy. Already our energy is completely drained. And so now we can't really do any damage with it. So we're gonna cycle back to our flak cannon, and we're gonna let it recharge. Now we can cycle back to our railgun, which is completely recharged because of our energy core that we've used that puts a focus on weapons. And let's have some fun with a mine. I missed. Well, it was almost fun. But I like throwing them around myself. Okay, so you can see there the cause and effect of using a energy core that puts a lot of emphasis on your weaponry, so your weapons can just a ton of damage, right? Really, really clean, really, really good stuff. So now, let's go ahead and change out to the boost energy core, which is going to impact boosting recovery. Now, we do have a really healthy amount of boost, but we want to use this to try and get through this madcap. So as you can see, we are now completely out of boost, and we're gonna start using our weaponry. And our boosting is back up already, so we're gonna boost more. And our flak is out in that last shot, so we have to cycle out. Couldn't even take out one enemy with one weapon. Whew. Perfect. So our boosting was wonderful there. We could just go crazy. We could go ham, super evasion all the time, but our weapons started to fall off a little bit because of that energy displacement. So that's what's gonna happen depending on which of those energy cores you're selecting out for your ship and how you're going to balance yourself for what your opportunities look like. Maybe you have just this idea of a glass cannon build and you just want everything focused in weapons and you just have to maximize everything that's happening from there. So if that's the case, I mean, maximize your weapons. Don't even worry about your shields. Don't worry about your engines because they can't hit you if they're dead, right? Right? But also, if you have some sort of really sick combinations with maybe when your shield takes damage, then something happens, or it synergizes with the device usage. Like, for example, the passive over here on our Sentinel right now is that we gain 5% movement speed for each enemy affected by the EMP. That could look very differently, right? That could be some other synergy with maybe our shield. That could be a synergy with maybe our armor, something like that. If you have some sort of emphasized use with going those directions, then obviously you should look for those energy cores and maximize those effects by saying, hey, this is going to benefit my shield. I'm absolutely going to put my shield up, right? That's going to be great. And still, if you can't decide, if you can't figure out what it is you want to do and you're just like numbers, oh dear goodness gravy, I can't figure it out, then just go with the Energizer SB from Shiva Industries. They make life more convenient for your sake. Shiva Industries. All right. And obviously, there's a spread of little details that are gonna make your decision there, but there you go. So that's your overarching look at just simply energy cores and how that manages with your weapons and your boosting and your shields. Even though we didn't really take too much shield damage because I'm really good at evading. All right. What energy core are we using? Okay, we got our Energizer, good. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this this container. Ooh, some sensors. I'm curious. Not a bad sensor, but it's uncommon. It's not as good as our superior. You can see that right here. Not as good, but pretty good. I do like its tractor beam range, but our tractor beam range is actually better, so never mind. Forget about that. Everything we have is actually better. Beautiful. Nice. So, where are we? Where are we in the realm of EVERSPACE 2? What are we doing? Are we on a mission? Because we have a destroy the outlaw base thing in the upper left there. It says like, destroy the fuel tanks, the energy coils, the boost structures, the turrets, the bomb throwers. That seems significant. So let's look at our map and figure out what's going on here. Okay? So we see we're actually way out in the boonies here. We're at an unknown signal. An unknown signal. So as you can see, and for the veterans of EVERSPACE 1, you're also going to have known this. Whenever you're just flying about space, you might discover even a base that's hiding from scanners. You've gotten close enough and then all of a sudden, boom, it pings on your radar, but only because you've gotten close. Not for any other data. It's not on any type of the star maps or anything. It's just a random find. Completely random unknown signal in the hinterlands is where we are currently at. So that's neat. These random locations that you'll be going to can offer base raids. Pretty neat. So we're gonna go ahead and raid this base. Woo! I want to see how the mines work. Okay, we'll get there. So this is a detonator drone. I don't want to deal with him at all. So we're gonna try and blast him from range. See how good my shot is. Feels good. An outlaw scout and an outlaw bomber. Okay. Well, this guy's throwing missiles at us. This outlaw scout, I'm not too concerned. We're just gonna flat cannon this guy up close. And then we're gonna fire some homing rockets. And see, even if we miss, they find their way. And we're also gonna use this rocket launcher that you guys probably are really curious about too. So the thing about the rocket launcher is that it does fire really fast, but it doesn't home in. So like if we shoot over here, over there, none of these shots are hitting, but if you can aim well enough, they can dish out some serious damage on your target. I mean, look at how fast this fired. I mean, just ignore the fact that I'm really terrible shot with this, but in my defense, that's a small target. If that was a larger target, like a mini-boss styled enemy, maybe some sort of cruiser or carrier, yeah, that'd be super easy to just barrage and destroy him, right? So next we have some more targets here, and we've got this outlaw bomb thrower. So I'm gonna barrage with missiles, right? Well, we see there that it says energy shield, and none of the damage is actually going through. So what we have to do is we have to use its own weapon against it. Oh my goodness, that rocket launcher is making things a little bit more difficult. But now we throw that at him, and his shield is gone, so we can take him out. So you have to use your own enemy's weapons against them in order to gain the advantage. Take out some of these turrets, making life a little bit easier. And you can see every time we're destroying a structure, it's kind of checking off that box on the left side to take over the space. That was close. Oh, we're gonna use these rockets again. They're just so effective against a non-moving target. Makes it nice and easy. Destruction. See, we got one more fuel tank and one energy coil. This is the energy coil, I believe. Yep. Now, where's the other fuel tank? Where are you at? Ah, there it is. Silly me's hiding right in the fuel canister up top. So once that happens, you'll see we have added something that's probably familiar to some people. Probably familiar to some people. That's right. Elites are in fact making their way back into EVERSPACE 2. So you get excited about having some beefier dudes with maybe a couple new attributes and powers associated with them. That's pending right now because we haven't implemented it yet. But we do want to make sure that if you go about your business in a capacity that is a little more challenging, we want you to get rewarded, not just through equipment, but also through the challenges themselves. We don't want this to be a cakewalk. We don't want this to be, you know, super easy, sandboxy, open world space, right? Like, obviously there's a lot of customization to be had here. And we want that. That's going to be healthy for you, but it needs to offer some sort of incentive other than just fly around, do whatever. Like, you have to be challenged by that. So, of course, we're coming back with elites. And yeah, just a nice little treat for you guys to see. We recently were able to implement this. It's a very basic, very crude element right now, but we'll see where it goes. And I hope you're excited to see where that goes too. So now I'm gonna stop talking for a second. I'm gonna check out the chat and see what type of questions are popping up there. Because I know that there's been questions being asked. So let's check this out. I do see a lot of people asking about like laptop, asking about settings and whatnot. So actually I'm gonna jump over to the most asked question over from the AMA really quick, all right? The most asked question and the official response, okay? So the most asked question was, what do our computer specs need to look like in order to play EVERSPACE 2? Like what, the GPU, the CPU, all that, like what am I gonna need? Guys, the super short answer is, this is pending, right? We're still over a year's worth out of full completion, okay? It's gonna be a while until we can give like a definitive response to this. But what we can share with you is what we are currently using ourselves and what type of feedback we're getting through that content, right? So Michael, the man of the hour, super cool. He says that in the current alpha, it's still lacking optimization, of course. He can pull 4K at 60 frames per second on an i7 in an RTX 2070 Super. All right? This is the alpha state, an incomplete game that has not been optimized. It's an i7 with an RTX 2070 Super. That gets 4K 60 frames per second. All right? He's also played with his 6-year-old gaming notebook that has 16 gigabytes of RAM with an i7 at 2.6 gigahertz and a GTX 970M, and it still pulls off 1080p at 30 frames per second. So I'm gonna read that aloud one more time as well. It's a 6-year-old gaming notebook, okay, with 16 gigs RAM, i7 at 2.6, GTX 970M, and it still pulls a 1080p 30 FPS. All right? So, our current pending recommended specs are going to be around 16 gigs of RAM, about an i7 at 2.9 gigahertz, and a GTX 1080. Okay? And this what we're hoping is that's going to achieve at minimal a 1080p stable 30 FPS experience. That is like our benchmark that we want to at least establish. And our goal is to get a super stable, super fluid, super beautiful 60 frames per second at 4K. And that's likely going to be realized on the RTX 2070 Super or equivalent with your settings at high graphics settings or more. I know that was a lot of information, but I know that those techie nerds out there, I know you guys, a lot of gamers, they know what their gear is. I know you know. That was a healthy amount of information, and I also know that you know that. We know that you know that I know that you know. What a delight. Lot of details there. But that was the number one asked question. Whew. So now you know. Almost missed the stream, but you didn't. But you didn't. Nice. All right. So let's answer a couple more questions and then we'll start flying around some more, because I know that you guys have so many questions. When will the next update come out? I saw that, and I see a response directly from Michael, the CEO. His response is the second half of September. This is true. Our beta, in fact. Beta, what? Beta hype, please. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, we're currently in alpha, getting ready to transition over to beta. And that's in the second half of this month. This month. That's right. That's pretty nice. That's pretty good. Not caught up with the streams in development? Well, I'm glad that you're here. So if you have any questions, RTHJ, you let me know. We'll see what we can do to help you out, okay? Feel like the combat is stale without the engine kill drift feature for the AI and player ship. We'll actually have that feature later. That's been a hotly requested feature, even since EVERSPACE 1. So yeah, know that we will be bringing that into play. You can toggle your inertial dampeners. We're also putting a little bit of emphasis on abilities that could be assisted by that processes as well. So yeah. Just know that the game itself is not a space sim. I want to make that very clear. I know that we have a lot of space sim enthusiasts who are looking at our game and like, this is going to be the next big space sim that I'm going to dive into. That's not like the emphasis. That's not the point. Yeah, we do have space sim elements for sure. Absolutely. But at its core, EverSpace 2 is an arcadey space shooter in an open world RPG setting. All right. So obviously there's some overlap, but please know that that's not the focal point. You're not supposed to be driving this vessel in any sort of super hyper realistic capacity. All right. I mean, look at these beautiful lateral thrusters. I mean, do you really think that this is even remotely possible in any type of realistic capacity? Because the answer is no, absolutely not. Is it fun? Does it feel good? Heck yes! And that's why we're doing these types of things. That's why we're going in that sort of direction. Does it make any sense to have a cockpit that looks kind of like a car? Actually, there's probably validity there, but still, like, we want to make this look stylish and cool, right? Like, we want you to just like fly your spaceship in all style and all like, just like give you some visual yums, right? Visual yums. We said it. That's a fact. You can patent that. EVERSPACE 2, visual yums. Oh my gosh. But that's the narrative that we're driving forward. We are a video game. We're arcadey. We want you to dive into a spaceship and blow stuff up. Is it fun? Check. Is it realistic? That's not the point. So there's you go. There's your take. That's our mentality. Perfect. I'm going to be switching to a Ryzen CPU. Is that good? Depends on the Ryzen. Let's be clear. Can I use a more advanced ARC 9000? So the only time that we've shown the ARC 9000 so far in the EVERSPACE 2 was in I don't even know if it was an actual in-game screenshot. It might have been a mock-up for the UI, but it was an associated alt on a heavy ship. I believe it was for the gunship. So I can 100% confirm that the ARC 9000 is in fact coming back. Like, it's guaranteed. And what capacity and what degree it's coming back, I think we're still kind of working that out internally, because we know that a lot of you guys want that as a rich weapon to utilize. We also want to make sure that there's a powerful uniqueness to your equipment. And if you have an be-all, end-all powerful ARC 9000 that's accessible on every single ship that you could use wildly and just go back to a station and restock because you have an absurd number of credits or you sell everything else, whatever. Like, there's some really massive cheese potential there. And we want to make sure that, again, that risk reward system using that challenge rating in the game is present. So that's why we're kind of going through this full notion of, if we do bring the ARC 9000 back, it's probably going to come back as an ultimate for a specific ship. So either way, it is coming back. I'm just straight up confirming that. All right. So don't get too worried. Also, do we have more slots? Perfect. Grab some of this stuff. Ooh, an executioner. Oh, Baron Nova. I do love them. They're probably my favorite manufacturer because they put an emphasis on all types of artillery weapons. They're a lot of fun. So if we look at this executioner, this is a scattergun. Again, my favorite. Just look at that damage. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. I love it so much. Baron Nova. Probably my favorite. Will corvettes and drone carriers be making a return along with possibly some new mini bosses? Asked Baked Face. So one of the elements that we want to achieve in EVERSPACE 2 is to bring back most of what you saw in EVERSPACE 1 to some degree, whether referential or exactly, in an updated capacity, right? Because this is a continuation of the storyline in EVERSPACE 1. So it makes a lot of sense for everything that you've seen in EVERSPACE 1 to be present in some capacity or degree, but they could be modified, they could be updated, they could have been changed, they could look a little bit different. So I'm actually gonna reference, this is gonna be kind of a strange one, but I'm gonna reference StarCraft Brood War to StarCraft 2. You'll notice that from those two games, you saw the same sort of things, but changed, right? They developed over time. So instead of having a Firebat, for example, now you have a Hellion for the Terran faction. So there's modifications, there's changes, right? And we're using that side as kind of as a point to note in how we're developing and moving into this territory of EVERSPACE 2 to not only keep it fresh, but also keep it familiar to those veterans in EVERSPACE 1. So is that a good non-answer to your question? This dude, compare the early EVERSPACE 2 streams with this. He seems a bit like he stops giving a crap what people think of him, possibly through the magic of whiskey. Hey, you know what? I actually am not much of a drinker myself, gonna be completely honest. This is Personal Hour with Eric Schrader. You're welcome. No, I prefer a good solid chocolate milk, okay? I don't know why I told you that, because that's probably going to be deadly in the Discord. But seriously, I don't really like alcoholic beverages. But Michael's cracked me open a bit, though. I'll say that, because tell you what, Rockfish knows their beers. They know their alcohol. That is for sure. And whenever I had the privilege of going over to Germany last year and the year before that, I will say, yes. But I don't drink hardly anything in America. Nope. I wish I had a big glass of chocolate milk to like I seriously love chocolate milk. It's kind of like, what? I was like, you're a child. Yes. I never made claims that I wasn't. Okay. Oh, tea as well. Actually, yeah, I'm a huge fan of tea. Tea. Give me that Earl Grey. Straight green tea's fine too. It's pleasant. But I'm an Earl Grey type of a drinker. All right. Yeah, and Michael, his father, he actually says this in the Twitch chat. His father was a beer brewing master from Germany. So there you have it. Beautiful. Okay, how do you disable inertia dampeners? Can you do it in the free demo? It is not possible as of right now. It is an update that will be updated. But basically what you would do is you would go into your options menu and it would be an option here. I know that we've also seen the request of having it a live button. That's the best way I want to put it. So basically like you're in game and you push a button right now to toggle the inertia dampeners. Let me tell you what, for building this out for both PC and consoles, it can be kind of tricky to figure out what needs to be bound to what. For keyboards, I mean, it's obvious you got like a zillion options, right? So that's probably not going to be a problem. You can just bind it, toggle, boom. But for controllers, we'll have to figure that out. We'll have to figure out how possible that is. It might have to be bound to a menu option where you go inside and toggle it from there. I know it's not as convenient. I know some people are frustrated by that. I can assure you, if we can find a way to make it work, we will. So we have another unknown signal. We're just gonna go to it. Let's see what we find. Oh my gosh. Let's start with beer fish games. Nice. All right. So let's change our weapons up just a little bit. I know we had some people asking about the thermogun, so we're gonna cycle that in. You'll also notice that the flak and thermogun have the exact same art on them. Obviously, we're still working on more artworks and whatnot inside of the game. This is not done. I feel like I shouldn't have to mention this every single time in the stream, but I'm just gonna say it. Everything you see here is work in progress. It's an alpha build, so just soak that in, please. Excellent. Let's see. Let's also show the beam laser. I think some people were asking about that one. So the thermogun, shooting that forward looks pretty consistent. It's just going straight. But then if we shoot over here, you can see the magic that's happening. It's bending all the way around, clobbering this guy still. So just imagine there's like an asteroid right here. So he literally can't shoot us, and we're just using this to shoot around it. So that's what the thermogun is capable of. We could be running away from him, and we're shooting him. The big issue with this weapon is the energy draw. And then we have this beam laser, which is nice and focused. I think the guy hit a mine, so he just died instantly. But here we go. The beam laser is just a focused weapon that deals consistent damage to both shields, armor, and hull. It just pounds it out for you. Very consistent. Beautiful. All right, so where are we? Got some more outlaws. We'll take them on as well. Also, this ship bores me. What do you say we change it up a little bit? Want to change our ship? How many of you all know about customization? That's a dangerous topic because we'll talk about it for the rest of the entirety of the stream. Customization is very important for us at Rockfish, and how you can fly in style. I've already mentioned it from the cockpit alone. We want you to feel good about what you're choosing. Ouch, those mines though. Let's give it right back to him. Kinda missed. I gotta work on my mind game, all right? Oh, we're about to get wrecked. That, my friends, is the sound. Where is he? Where is he? Oh, goodness gravy. So this little guy, this is a new enemy type. This is a detonator drone. Their entire goal is to make you dead. That's it. And they will track you down through the depths of space, whether you like it or not. They are deadly. They're basically, just think of it as like a plasma mine on steroids that can also track you. So we're gonna destroy him with a little bit of distance between us. And then we're gonna take out the rest of these guys. Not too much issue because we're pretty powerful. My energy core. I wonder if maybe I should swap it, but
down one.
It's okay for now. Whew! Solid chocolate milk. It's just chocolate, Eric. It's true. First evil. I saw that in chat. Hello, future Eric. Hello, past Karimshin. Kind of wish the detonator drone were a little quieter. So it's very intentional that we make an enemy that can explode fairly loud. We have that audible cue going on for player feedback because we want you to freak out when you hear it. We want you to like figure out which angles it's coming from. We want you to be on edge because when they explode, they do a lot of damage, right? So it's very intentionally designed that they create that much sound. I know somebody's thinking, but sound? You sound in space? That doesn't make any sense. Do we need to pull up past Eric for this one? Yeah, don't worry, I'll take care of this. So we're not a space sim. We're going more for an arcadey approach, right? So we want rich player feedback so that you know when something's about to happen and what's going on in your environment so you can react accordingly, right? So maybe we'll adjust the sounds a little bit, maybe one way or the other for sure. I think it's a fair observation to think that it should be a little bit quieter. And there might even be the cause for certain mission types where maybe you're going through an internal space, really dark, could be possibly deadly, and you don't hear a freaking thing, then all of a sudden you round a corner and there's like 3 of them. Shikanga-baka-boo! Right? Like that, there could be incentives for utilizing some trickery to heighten the emotional state of the player if we're going for like a horror aspect in that particular field. So we'll see. We'll see. Love that beam laser. I'm a big fan of the beam laser myself. Will there be like an OP scout-like ship from EVERSPACE 1? Yes. Was that a detonator? Basically. Except he got detonated. Do we have an option to have weathered skins like a toggle? You mean like on the ship? Spectral Bagger in the chat, Badger in the chat on YouTube. He's been providing a lot of feedback where you should also provide feedback, which is on the Steam forums for EVERSPACE 2. You go throw your ideas and suggestions over there, have a conversation with the community. We'll see what you guys are feeling about it. It's always a positive. It's always a great time. Wait, who'd I ghost? Also, Zenday, hey, I know that you were a rock solid dude on the AMA for PC Gamer. So thank you for your questions. It's really good. I think you had a really solid one. Let me just pull this up really quick because I think you had one of the first questions, right? I'm not crazy, am I? I think you popped in and you had one of the first ones, and then it took us a while. Yeah. So yeah, so you asked what the process at Rockfish Games from the birth of an idea to realization was. How many ideas have been shot down due to budgetary, technical, or ridiculous reasons? And what are some of the craziest ideas you or the crew have had that didn't make it into EVERSPACE 1 or 2? And we provided a very elaborate response, okay? A very elaborate response. I'm trying to decide if I should read that here, verbatim, or cut to the chase. I'm going to cut to the chase because this is like a 5-minute read in and of itself, okay? So basically, we had an ideation phase right after EVERSPACE internally with the team. And we said, what do you think we should work on next? Let's pitch some ideas. And we had 8, I'm gonna call them core ideas. We had 8 core ideas, and 2 of them mostly took off from that point. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself because first let's talk about the inspiration behind EVERSPACE. Woo! It stems off of one simple element, okay? It was taking what we enjoy and know best and championing it for the PC and console market. So many of you know that we initially created Galaxy on Fire 1 and 2 for mobile, but we didn't want to do another mobile game. We wanted to dive in. So we took that rich history and left the playing field of mobile to enter into PC and console market, along with powerful tools, expanded ideas, and we have been inspired by a lot of sci-fi stories and from lots of mediums, including childhood games of ours as well, you know, like your Descents and your Privateers and your Elites and your Freelancers and, you know, all of that type of stuff. A lot of inspiration. EVERSPACE 1 received a lot of inspiration from both Freelancer and FTL, if you're familiar with that game. And that's what immersed it in the roguelike quite a bit. And the controls were also more like Freelancer or like a Descent sort of thing. Okay, no, after that, ideation phase after EVERSPACE, we had 2 that were picked up off the ground that we pushed forward, actually, and they never got to full completion. But we did invest a lot of time and resources into them. But it's a process coming up with the right direction to take. And after we had kind of gone through the numbers and looked at what our community's desires were, and we kind of looked at where we were sitting financially, we decided, you know what, we're gonna just do what the community wants and what we really want to do and take a stab at creating the EVERSPACE that we really want to make, and that is EVERSPACE 2. There's a lot more to the response there. That was a simplification. It's seriously, it's a lot. It was a big, healthy response. So Zendaya, thanks again. Seriously, really do appreciate that. And sorry for Nightbot. Nightbot bad, but you're good. Very, very good. Oh. Button Pusher says, I remember testing EVERSPACE. It's been a long time, and you've gone so far, Michael and team. That we have. Wow. It has completely changed. It's been a remarkable process, and thank you for all of your support through these many situations we have gone through. It's been awesome. Eric, please don't break your neck. Be careful, bro. Don't worry. My neck is made out of pure steel. All right. You like the volume about the exploding drone? It adds a sense of urgency. Good. That's what we're aiming for. That's great to hear. So on the ship, Spectral Badger says. Okay, so one of the things, man, we were going to talk about ship customization. There's too many things to talk about, guys, okay? I get so excited. I mean, I saw Zendaya in the chat, and it was like, oh, he's the guy who asked the question. We got to address the question. Oh my, seriously, there's so many highlights to this AMA we've had all week. PC Gamer really has done a solid job for us. It has been such a wild ride. So thank you for anyone who has contributed to that AMA. It's been a lot of fun. And we are continuing a live AMA here too. So please keep asking questions. If you didn't get a question answered somehow, or you have an interesting one to ask, by all means. What? Brilliant Noir. Goodness gracious, usernames are hard for me sometimes. What is SSGI in the option? Michael, can you actually add clarity to that one? Would you be able to answer that? SSGI. I actually have it disabled currently. If Casper's in the chat, I don't know if he is. He would also be able to answer that one far better than I would. SSGI. So yeah, let's see more ship customization. Absolutely. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take out this armor drone. Actually, you know what? First, we're gonna change the ship up. Let's do this first. Let's get some distance. How did you boost like that? That's amazing. That's the energized boost, a returning device from EVERSPACE 1. Okay, so customization. So with the ship, let's pause right here. So with the ship, this is a Sentinel class medium ship, medium fighter, okay? Screen space global illumination. See, everybody else knows what it is. Man, who's this guy talking about a video game? Is he even one of the devs? He doesn't even know what it stands for. What a noob. Okay, maybe you caught me a little bit, all right? I don't specifically do the coding, so some of these keywords I don't actually know, but what I do know and why I'm on the team is game design. And I understand a lot of these mechanics that we want to establish and create a powerful experience. So I can assure you, everyone on the team has a very functional role and capability, and that's why I referred to Casper and Michael, because I know that they know what's up and they're gonna give you the solid response. So everybody popping out saying space screen global illumination, that's probably what it is. Screen space global illumination, there you go. Yeah, like we're taking a lot of cool technologies and we're seeing what's possible with EVERSPACE 2, and we're making some of it happen. A lot of it happen, actually. I don't know how much I can say towards that. Okay, customization. Let's get into this. Check out these different bodies. Oh my gosh, how is he doing that? Are we gonna be able to change on the fly in space? No, that's a little too immersion breaking, but what I'm doing, I've got a dev build here, obviously. There are a lot of different modules that make up the whole of the ship, right? So, and these also impact like where you'd be looking out of the cockpit too. So like you have some that are on top like this, right? And you have some that have like a wider range of where you can see. You can look around the cockpit, and I'll show you that in just a moment, versus some that you can't really see that far, like this one especially. Like it can kind of impact your view if you are gonna move around inside the cockpit to look around. Otherwise, it's mostly aesthetic. We're also looking into statistical advantages and disadvantages for using the different bodies as well. Okay? But then obviously there's also different wings. So for the Sentinel, Tier 1, you have 4 different wing options. Each one of the subclasses has 4 different wing options, in fact. And we wanted each one for the Sentinel specifically to be forward swept wings, okay? So each one's a forward swept wing so that you know that is in fact a Sentinel. What do I mean by forward swept? That means that the wings themselves are moving forward. So in each one of these wings, you see that they are forward swept wings. So we have a distinct silhouette bound to the ship. So even though each one of these is very custom, they are very different, very distinct. And I also want to put emphasis on this is just Tier 1 of the Sentinel, okay? Last but not least, we want to get to that thruster customization, right? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so there's a lot of little different options here that can impact the way that your thruster looks. Each one of these adds just a nice little bit of flair as well to the overarching style. And see they have different sizes too. And again, this is something else we're looking into to possibly have unique attributes associated with them. One other thing here, let's do a boost. I think we can get away with this. Yeah, so we're boosting here. You see these particular engines boosting. I hope this doesn't break the game. Oh yeah, so yeah, you can see each one of the engines has a different style in the way it boosts as well, right? So we're getting lots of different styles. The wings have different boosting styles too. Like lots of different combinations of sorts, right? So now we can like start exploring. You can also change the color of your ship, right? There's color options, styles to choose from. Like this one that has a more textural computer, it's like more metallic, so you can like see the scrapes and dings that the ship has had through combat, right? And it's much more glossy overall. So kind of textural differences as well. And all of these combinations are going to give you a wide breadth of options for even just a single tier 1 Sentinel, what you're looking at here. All of these are, to a degree, the same ship, okay? All of these that I'm cycling through are the exact same ship that will have varying traits and qualities about it, but they're exactly the same. There's just one ship. And every single one of the unique subclasses for each class are going to have their own unique wings bound to them so that you can make a very wide assortment of options and customizations just for your exterior appearance of your ship. Just the exterior. That's just the exterior. And if that's not enough for you, there's also going to be customization options in the cockpit. Man, can you please show us the customization in the cockpit? No, I want to keep my job, actually. We can't show that just yet. But just know that we are working on a lot of different options that are going to change. Like, you see the 2 bars right here that are going like that, right? Like, those bars, that's going to be what you can customize. There will be different styles on the glass that you can see through. We did show a slight example of this in one of our vlogs a long time ago. Here, let's also change the location of the cockpit here. So now you can see, like, can I do this? Yeah, so you can see the cockpit's location does affect where you can see out of it as well. And if we're really lucky, let's see if I can do this. Yeah, okay, this is a good option. You can actually see the wings out in front of us. Yeah, like, look at this one, the cockpit. You can see the wings to the left and right of us because look at this cockpit location. It changes your vantage point, right? So we're taking all of those elements into account. Like, it's literally changing the location that you're looking out of the ship. And I think that's really cool. So there are a lot of little factors that can, I don't know, for some of you may make a big difference in what you're flying. Make a really big difference in what you're flying. But overall, just know that, like, when I say that we're doing ship customization, again, this is one ship. This is one ship, one subclass, okay? We're focused on customization. It's gonna be good. Will one of the cockpits have a giraffe source symbol again? Oh, Grindel. Might have a Grindel symbol. All your contributions to the wiki, good sir. So very, very good. Oh, Michael says, good call and not getting fired. Thanks, boss. I appreciate your vote of confidence. All right. Actually, I just want to get a good one. One that I feel a little bit better about. That one's kind of nice. Ooh, I like this glossy. We're gonna go with this glossy one. Okay, cool. Does it affect the in-ship stats by customizing these? Tahlil, I am butchering your username. I'm just gonna call you Zero, if that's okay. Basically, Zero, that is the plan. That is in the works. As of right now, I don't believe it really affects it that much, if at all. But something else to keep in mind with the customization of the ships is that we have unique specials, alts, and passives associated with them as well. So every time the same subclass will have the exact same ultimate. So every single Sentinel will have a static overload ability, which I'm currently over the top of. Sorry about that. Right here, right, this text right here. But the special and the passives can actually change. They can actually change. So I'm gonna move my head like this so you can see that the passive that I got on this particular Sentinel gives a 5% movement speed bonus for each enemy affected by an EMP device. So I have a means to synergize using this Sentinel using the EMP device, right? And then its special is that each kill reduces the cooldown of all devices by 2. So as you can see, Sentinels are very largely focused on devices. Imagine that, since that's the way they were in EVERSPACE 1. Boom, nice consistency. But these specials and passives are from a pool of unique specials and passives that can be assigned to a Sentinel. So as I was previously mentioned, saying like these are the same ship and then rotating between them, it's true, but it's also not true because those stats and the ship characteristics can actually be different, creating not like extremely different two of the same exact ships, but you're gonna have variety to pick and choose between what's gonna be more effective for your playstyle versus what's not. And then you have different subclasses entirely, like the Sentinel to the Interceptor, and they're gonna have completely different specials and passives, and a completely new alt that's bound to them. And of course, they're gonna have unique looks. Customization. There's a lot. Whoo, I'm like sweating because I'm so excited with what we've got cooking. Oh my gosh. Can you change the thrusters? Yes. Oh, sorry, we addressed that already. Are there any asymmetric styles? Not at this time, Marcus. I think I'd have to ask Matthias. I don't even know if we've explored any asymmetric styles at this point. I know that modular systems can be very fickle, right? Because it's very important to establish your foundations for a modular system, right? Because if you can't establish your core, then nothing else matters because you're gonna have to change the way everything else is applied. And an asymmetric style is going to create a lot of issues with that, right? So I think for the most part, we're kind of shooting away from an asymmetric style, but I don't want to cast it out the window, right? Because I do think that's a cool option. We just have to see how we could fit that in to the foundational rules we have established for our modular ships. Is that fair? Is that a fair response? But I do like that question. Little tree air fresheners, dude, sniper. I would love that. I would love that so much. What will be some of the other options for customizing the cockpit? Dashboard layout? Finos over on Twitch. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for that question. That is a question that we will have to follow up with you about. That's just because we're still in alpha right now. We have a lot of plans for customization, a lot of what we want to do with even stuff like the interior of the cockpit. That's just gonna come later. I hope that excites you because that means we're working on it and I can't tell you, otherwise that would be bad. But know that like we're like already, even with all of this already, we still want to do more with customization. Like we're crazy. Can you rent or own new space stations? So let's talk a little bit about the start of EVERSPACE 2. Basically, you're thrown into this game world as an employee of Grady and Brett Prospects, and things go wrong. Imagine that, the start of a video game that sets you up for choosing your pathway forward because you have to scrap yourself up from nothing. Wow! But specifically, yeah, so you have to find an establishment to hide out from, which is appropriately enough called the home base. So whenever you establish yourself at the home base, you start like, you start building it up a little bit, right? Like you have to turn the engines on. So you have to, your very first quest really is to go out and find the parts and the pieces so that you have life support. And that's gonna be kind of like your core, I mean, that's your home base, right? As far as like renting or owning additional space stations, you know, like flying out to other regions of space, like say like you really like Nefty's planes, like I just wanna buy this from G&B. That's pretty bold of you to do, because G&B ain't no messing around in regards to that prospect. But yeah, like we do want to have specific ports that the player is going to be navigating throughout this very expansive area of the DMZ, so that you do have your options to change your ships and to customize more customization, like more, just like have a lot of different options. Goodness, I'm stuttering because like I'm on this line. you can't see it, but it's called NDA. And basically like we have a lot of plans with how you are going to establish yourself from this home base and move through the story, okay? And we want to give you a fair amount of options. At the same time, this is not something where it's like you're trying to establish your your faction, right? It's not like you have to take over each region and you're like power control against like mafia-styled gameplay. It's like who's on your turf. That's not what type of game this is. Okay, that's not. I just want to nip that in the bud right now. Boom, get out of here with that idea. That's not how it's operating. This is more of a free-form formula where you are a one-man fighter pilot operating with a group of companions that you meet along your journeys and accomplishing a very specific task through this campaign, this 20 to 30 hour campaign. Boom! Boom! Looped that back around. Excellent. Whoa, Hate Master, throwing some bold statements there. Throwing some bold statements. So what he says, and how I'm going to respond to this, he says, this is why EVERSPACE trumps over Star Citizen. Simple, basic pew-pew gameplay like space shooters should be mixed with tons of options, customization, and choices. And I will agree that simple, basic pew-pew gameplay like space shooters should be mixed with tons of options, customization, and choices, which is the direction that we're going. But it's really hard to say like we're better than Star Citizen and we trump Star Citizen, because we have two very different visions of what we want to establish as those core foundations, those core pillars of what the game is going to offer, right? So I would look at it as not this game is better than the other, but look at the experience that it's granting players. And what you described there regarding space shooters, I do agree with, and that's what we are specifically doing with EVERSPACE too. Also, we actually really love Star Citizen. Like, we love a lot of sci-fi games, and we think that there are a lot of incredible concepts that come out of Star Citizen, mostly because it's not finished. So yeah, excellent. Is it possible, Donatu Tsutsi, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Is it possible that you implement something like a carrier which you can use to park your ships in and travel long distances? We've got that question a couple times as well. Oh my gosh, I love that question. And all I'm gonna say is that would be pretty dope, wouldn't it? It'd be pretty dope, wouldn't it? Do these ship components affect weight of the ship when you maneuver in space, like turn rates and stuff? This is a very great question. This is Caspa. So kind of is the response to that, because there are going to be some unique pieces of your ship that will modify your movement and your handling, which I love those pieces the most. So depending on what you choose, some are gonna help give you more flexibility. If you're cycling them out for something that's really bulky and strong, yeah, it's gonna hinder your flexibility. So that's gonna be along with the itemization, with those bonus, the bonus abilities, powers, identifiers. The term that we're using for them is eluding me at the moment, but like those added features, like those are going to shift and change the balance of your ship, and you will want to keep a track on that. And we are making sure that, like, even though my body's in the way, like, here, let me just disable my webcam really quick. So like you can see, like, all of these stats over here are important to the player. There's one hidden right here. There's one hidden stat right here. And this is resistance. But each one of your attributes is important to balance and maintain specifically to your playstyle, right? So right now we're actually playing pretty defensive. We have a lot of structure and repair. Pretty defensive. So that's why we got some pretty healthy armor and hull points here. And also, I'm just gonna say it again, because I'm gonna say it 50 billion times. This is work in progress, so these figures will very likely change pertaining to a suboptimal, if not optimal, level 10 loadout. Also, your speed and your handling, these figures are going to impact your speed and your handling. Oh my gosh, what a concept. And how, like, you're gonna be navigating that game world. Medium ships are pretty well balanced in that regard. Heavies are gonna be much more sluggish. Lights are gonna be, oh, I love lights. I love light fighters so much. So yes, but there's a lot of customization to make even a medium ship pretty freaking flexible. Light class gang, right? Oh my gosh! Ah! Oh! I want to point out that we do have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/rockfishgames, all one word. Obviously, we've got a big troop that's watching from the YouTube stream, so you're already killing it. You know right where to go. We have vlogs posted on there, okay? We have shown blockouts of the heavies and some of the lights. Some of the heavies and some of the lights, okay? So, yeah, they look kind of like chunky boys, and that's because they're blockouts. So if you think that that's gonna be how they translate into the full game, I'm sorry, but that's not how it works. But we are well on our way to getting them more fleshed out so that they are presentable, and yeah, we'll see where we get. We need more vlogs. Vlogs take a long time to produce, Bloodstar, and we'd rather focus on the content of the game. We know that vlogs are cool, seriously, but our focus is here. Who needs weapons when you have sped? I like it. All right, a couple more questions, then we'll do some more content here. I want to show you a little bit more of Union for those who have missed it. And I'm going to ask, I'm going to ask Michael, because I don't want to overstep my boundaries, and I didn't ask before the stream. So let's just do this, you know, right here, right now. Can I show the cloud, the cloud planet, the gas giant? It has been seen in a video, and I know we're still working on it, but I want your approval or not. If not, we're still going to be flying through the clouds of Union. It's still a beautiful sight. So if you haven't seen it, oh my goodness, it's gorgeous. I just want to show you how like authentic we here at Rockfish. Like we really want to show you this stuff. Like we really have a lot of fun with diving in. And you know, if we can get away with giving you a little bit of the goods, we're going to take that. And I'm sure you probably saw it on the PC AMA. Like we had some back and forths with each other. It's because like that's just how real we are. It's what we do. So that's why I'm literally asking my boss if I can show you content right now. And Michael's like, oh my gosh, Eric, why are you doing this to me? Oh my, I gotta check his contract. Whew. Anyway. Casper's in the chat. Yo, Casper. Good to see you, dude. Casper is our project manager. He's my supervisor, and he's the best at supervising. What a delight. What a joyful man. Ah, it's good to have you. Wait, what was his response? Did I miss it? He just said AFK. That's what he said. I didn't see anything else. Wait, did he private message me? Oh my gosh, did I get a private message from my boss? Oh no, I'm good. It's like, okay guys, stream's over, I gotta go. Everything's good here. AFK means yes? I thought it was away from keyboard. What? I feel like I'm being a doofus right now. Am I doing this? The community is like, yes, it means yes. If he isn't watching, he has deniability. Guys, you are ridiculous. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show the fluffy cloud location. We're not gonna go to the giant. We're gonna go to Zarkov Border Patrol. This one I really like. This one feels so good. Yeah, no, I seriously love our community, but I don't trust you because I don't want to accidentally break my NDA. That would be big troubles, and I would like to stick around for a while, so. All right, so here is Zarkov, a very nebulous location. I love viewing it through just like this. Oh my gosh, I love the way this looks. And let's add a little bit of class by getting that wing option. Hang on a second. Where are we at? Ship. Here, we want to do this one with, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I like the way this looks. Look at that. Get the guns right up in your face. See where we can fly around here. Oh my gosh. Ugh. So Union is a trade port. It's just like the whole solar system is kind of like a trade port, okay? Very, very large. Lot of activity here. A lot of people from all around. A lot of G&B. A lot of freelancers. And a lot of mystery through these lightning storms and nebulas. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. I love it. And there are a lot of environments within EVERSPACE 2 that we want to make sure establish a tone to where you're at and a theme to each of these locations that you're venturing towards. We have fully handcrafted concepts that are reaching fruition throughout all of these solar systems. So Cedo, it's very simple. It gives you that standard approach to your I'm out in space, pew pew daka daka, let's blow stuff up, right? You have your nice bright blue cold sun. You got the pretty backdrops going down, and then here, you know, in Union, we have a complete change of pace, which is far more nebula. We got these purples and oranges. Distinct features that are telling you where you're at. We also did this with EVERSPACE 1, in fact. You guys know that? In EVERSPACE 1, each of the sectors has a unique color associated with it. So just by the scenery alone, you actually know where you're at and how far you've made it. Truth be told, we initially wanted each of these sectors in EVERSPACE 1 to be a unique solar system. So you can kind of consider it like in EVERSPACE 2, that each one of these solar systems is like a sector. All right? Cedo is Sector 1. Union is Sector 2. Like that. To find Gordon's body. Oh my gosh, David. Nice. It'll be hard to top Union. Oh, it won't be. We got some stuff cooking up. I think you're gonna like it. Cool. What was I just doing just now? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. But I think that we should venture to an entirely new location that hasn't been shown on screen yet, yeah? Yeah! All right, let's do it. Guys, I'd like to present to you Anandra Spaceport. This is an entirely new area that we've been hard at work on. This is near a gas giant. It's another G&B trading hub that's going to be filled with an assortment of new characters for you to meet and opportunities galore. So this, of course, is still very much work in progress. It's very fluffy, this gas giant. And you'll see that we have, like, there's some fairly expansive poles sticking down towards the planet. Harvesting. Hovering. And we've got these satellites floating above, providing resources and energy to the fields below. I mean, just look at this. Oh my gosh. Ugh. We're pretty pleased with the results. Pretty pleased. And you can fly down into these clouds too. Like, these clouds are there. They are present. It's not like they're just in the background element itself. Like, you can see, like, as we bend around this cloud, like, you can see these gaps. So I can go over to the left. There's gaps that go down, or we can actually like, fly through it and basically not be able to see anything. So you gotta be careful where you're going and what you're doing in this space, because if you pop out, there might be a ship for you to collide with, or something else. It's like these clouds are actually there. Eric, can you shoot while in cockpit view? I can't. There's no shooting allowed. When you're in cockpit view, all the controls, nope. They're removed. Yes, of course. Look at that. That beam laser. Something to tweak. Woo! There's our blaster. You can see just how much of that, or that's not a blaster, excuse me, that's a thermo gun. It's a really bad spread. But you can see here too that like, we are looking to make sure that your weaponry, you could also tell what weapon it is by what it looks like, because these do have different looks. What a troll. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Grindel. I love you. Make those clouds animated? Maybe they are and you can't tell yet. Maybe we're still working on it and they're gonna be. Maybe there's gonna be more. It does look like cotton candy, doesn't it? I just want to scoop it up and eat it. Oh my gosh. I'm not really even a fan of cotton candy, but it makes me want some. So how does that work? Please be monsters? That'd be pretty dope, wouldn't it? Will there be an animation for them switching? That's a good question. And it's one that I would toss back at you, Geometry Prime. Do you think that that would add the right type of value to the game? Like, is that something we should put our energy towards? I'm not asking that to be snarky. Like, it's a legitimate question. Because for us, I think our mentality is like to keep it fast-paced on the fly. It's like, okay, you're changing weapon, boom, it's just done. Like, I don't think it's something that we really feel the need to put emphasis on. That might be a nice quality of life improvement. I'm curious what you have in mind for what that would look like. All right, so I want to answer a couple questions that I see are coming out from showing this location. So Excelsior asks, will there be some wildlife in this location when it's finished? Excelsior, I want to just share with you a loving, beautiful story about concept art. Concept art, the process of concept art, it gives us a vision for how we enter into the development of the game. And we've come up with some wild concepts and realized them in some capacities, and others we look longingly at them for our own personal desires of the vision of what EVERSPACE 2 should be. And one of these concept arts is this massive space whale billowing out of the side of what looks to be a very large gas giant. I'm just pointing that out. That's a concept art piece that we have shown. It is out there. And there's a heavy player ship that's actually outrunning the space whale in this concept art. I'm just pointing that out there. It has nothing to do with your question. All right. Okay. And you can also see that this station here, yeah, we have a lot of similar themes going on based on what we saw in Zarkov. But these are entirely different stations. They're composed very differently. Some aspects are similar, right? We do have some carryovers like this section here. This is pretty similar. But you see like parts where ships would dock and whatnot. But these large platforms and these long stems is what I'm going to call them at the base. Like, stations are going to be unique based on what they're manufacturing, what faction they are, where they're located. We want to add a lot of nice variety, but also some degree of consistency through the space. So like everything you saw in Zarkov and everything you see here, all of this is G&B, and I hope that you can see that parallel, right? Like you can tell GMB is very industrial. They're a mining company through and through, and they've got the goods, right? And you're gonna see a lot of this more industrialized look, the style, when you see GMB nearby. And that style is going to change based on what faction has ownership, whether it's a specific outlaw faction, whether it's another faction, like maybe it's the complete freelancers, maybe a couple of different freelancers have entirely different styles because, you know, they're freelancers, they wouldn't be operating together necessarily, they could. Like we want to make sure that we're bridging that gap so you have a sense of established markings and familiarity with the space of EVERSPACE 2. Giant translucent mantaway, woo! That's actually cool. All right, let me answer one more question, and then I want to dive over and talk a little bit more about our community and answer some of the more asked questions from the AMA that we got. I didn't go through the whole thing because I didn't have enough time. I'm sorry, don't hurt me. But I did want to just talk about some of the bigger ones, just because it was good. It was a really healthy AMA from PC Gamer. And again, I want to give them another huge shout out. Seriously, like, what a wonderful opportunity to work with PC Gamer. They were great. They made things super easy. It was super swell. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, Shu, if you would be able to drop a link, that would be amazing. Like, you can swing on over to the PC Gamer forums. We did a really healthy AMA. It was a lot of fun. We also dropped information about the story there too. What? You haven't said that all stream. I know there was a big drop about the story of EVERSPACE 1 and 2 and I also posted another exclusive video with my stupid dumb commentary over the top of it. So definitely check that out. Definitely check that out. All right, cool. So I'm gonna answer two questions actually, because I think I saw two. Geometry Prime was talking about the animation of the weaponry, and I just want to read this. Okay, yeah, I mean, Geometry Prime, we'll have a lot to consider internally, but we do, overall, we aspire to have a lot of really neat effects through EVERSPACE 2. I mean, obviously, I hope that's pretty obvious, but like, putting emphasis on certain things over others, we still have a lot more content, a lot more items, a lot more prefixes to items, a lot more enhanced portions of items that we still want to focus on, still have more specials and passives, still more unique looks. Like, there's still a lot of meat that we have to bring to the core of the game, but I'm pretty confident that once we flesh that out, if there are other little tweaks and modifiers that just clean up that process as a whole, and it happens to be weapon changing, that could definitely be an effect. That could definitely be something that we work on. So that's good. Okay. Darth Dev asks, will there be any empire building or simulated economy, or just pew pew daka daka until our fingers bleed? So there won't be any type of empire building, like anything massive like that, but there will be a economy of sorts. The way that we are envisioning it is that you'll have unique locations, much like you see here, like Anandra Bishop Starport versus like Nefty's Plains. Like, these are two different stations in the game that are going to have certain needs, and they're going to have certain resources available to them based on their locations, based on their desires, and they'll have trade lanes associated with how they get those, and certain factions that they're working with. Both of these, maybe this was a bad example because both of these are GMB owned, but the point still stands. Like, they have specific ways that they get those resources, and if you want to take part in that, then you can. They will have job boards. There'll be those resources in the area. You can trade with them, or you can do interstellar trading where you fly to another solar system entirely and sell those goods for a bigger profit. So to a degree, you're going to have some space trucking elements within EVERSPACE 2. I wouldn't say that that's like the optimal way to play the game, but you will be rewarded for those efforts if that's more the style you want to take it. All right. Overall, the main core emphasis of EVERSPACE 2 is the pew pew daka daka combat, right? That's why we have such fluid controls, why we're emphasizing the lateral thruster, 6 degrees of freedom, like why we want all of that to be the bulk, the main. We want it to just, it's the main. the main. So hopefully that answers your question. I think that's a really solid one though. Really solid. All right, last question. When's the drop date? Which I think is always a really good one. And then we're gonna cover some community stuff that was really neat. So when's the drop date? The drop date for the beta is the second half of this month. The beta is dropping this month? Are you kidding me? That's amazing. It's a closed beta, okay? Okay, wait a second, hear me out, okay? So the closed beta and the closed alpha, the alpha's been live for a couple of months now. It's very exclusive to a specific group of our community who has supported us through development, has been providing feedback. It's helped a ton, okay? Like it's a good thing, okay? Yes, it's a closed beta the second half of this month. That's gonna be spooling up. It's gonna be good. That's gonna lead all the way into the end of this year, okay? At the end of this year, we have open early access, December 2020, okay? It's the end of this year. That early access is going to extend for over the course of a year, all the way around. We're gonna be soaking in all of the comments, suggestions, criticisms, feedbacks, joys, sorrows, anything and everything in between. We are going to be soaking that in like a sponge, and we're gonna be dropping some really sick beats from you guys, incorporating it into our vision. We're gonna work together. I just know this. We're gonna work together, and we're gonna create an incredible game experience for the full release out in 2022, quarter one. It's a long haul. I know some of you are like, wow, that's such a long time. I get it. No, I do. Development takes a long time, and we are in it to win it, and we know that working together with you guys is gonna produce those results. Okay. All right, so I want to dive in. I want to talk about community stuff really quick, because I think that this is a highlight for me especially. So let's go ahead and jump on over to that. So you're gonna see a black screen here for a moment. Let's talk a little bit about the Discord while we wait. Basically the Discord, oh, that's music's kind of loud. Hang on. All right, so the Discord is where you can go to interact with us, kind of see our big updates and whatnot drop on the live. Sometimes we'll pop into the comms and we'll just have a conversation with you. We'll poke around, we'll have some fun. Maybe I'll stream EVERSPACE, do a hardcore run. Maybe I'll stream some EVERSPACE 2 and say more than I'm supposed to. Whoops. It's a really good time. Obviously, you can also follow Twitter and the YouTube and the Twitch where we stream. Instagram there as well for all the incredible photos that you guys do. Seriously, it always pleases me greatly with how you guys pound it out. It is so freaking solid. But otherwise, we have a lot of screenshots that we get from the community, which is really what I want to showcase right now. We have a lot of fun there. So what I'm doing is I'm popping open some fan art. The first one I want to open is, it's a little bit different from the norm. Normally our fan art is in pictures, and sometimes people are screwing around and being funny, but our feedback here, let me bounce over here. Our feedback here, we got this little story from Jack Sharp Scribe. He actually shared it with me privately and was like, is it okay if I share this with the Rockfish community? And I dropped it in fan art. I think this is just delightful. A little snippet of how he views EVERSPACE as he's cruising through the game. So I'm gonna read this aloud to you guys. An interceptor pierced through a fog of plasma, intakes pulling the valuable resource out of thin air. Or rather, no air. A rogue pilot flew through the wreckage of the demilitarized zone, his ship's engines pulling full throttle as he used what was once an esteemed space station as his cover. Bolts of searing light flew right past his wing, threatening to take out his weaponry. He released the throttle as his ship sat behind a thick wall of scrap, his safety running out quickly. The pilot could hear his power core give off a quiet purr, slowly recharging. The Okar are pursuing quickly, an onboard computer informed. Significant damage has already been done to the engines. Just a few more seconds, the pilot insisted as he watched his ship's energy bar slowly refill, his teeth grit. The safest course of action would be to immediately aim towards the next jump coordinates. I have a better plan, the pilot replied as he flicked a switch, causing the engines to kick back into overdrive. A tri-winged fighter screeched past his cockpit through the wreckage and into open space. With a jam of a pedal and a tightly gripped joystick jerked to the side, the interceptor roared back into top speed and careened in an arc towards the Okar fighter, the damaged engines propelling the ship in an uncontrollable fashion. straight into an asteroid. Adam jumped out of his bed like he did every time he died, his breathing painful and quick. He actively worked to bring his pulse down, taking slower, steadier breaths. Every time he restarted, he was breathing with a new pair of lungs, a pair that he had never used prior. I advise you to use your remaining credits on upgrades to the engines, the onboard computer, Hive, suggested with his deadpan voice. Yet Adam knew, with the roll of the eyes, Hive was using sarcasm to rub salt in the wounds of his previous life. Oh my gosh! What a delightful read from Jack Subscribe. I mean, if that doesn't give you the feels, whew, I thought that was great. So seriously, thank you for that. And this could be you guys. Any one of you who likes to write, any of you who likes to craft things, 3D models, painting, you know, whatever, like you do funky stuff and it's embraced in the EVERSPACE franchise, send it our way. We love this stuff, guys. We absolutely love this. Okay, so let's go through a couple other things. We had Geometry Prime with an assortment of screenshots from EVERSPACE. Just want to show these off. Very delightful, very fun. We got the rear view style from the Scout blasting through. Really love it. Chrysant says, Hive is a dick. Hey, dude, how's it going? It's me, by the way. You know what I'm talking about. That's great. I'm glad you made it. All right. But yeah, so I really love this shot. This shot is freaking wallpaper material right here. Excellent shot geometry. Seriously stunning. Giving that gunship flavor some love. Oh my gosh. Really dig that. Just like everything about this, I need in my life. More! Very good. More, you say? Well, there is more. We also got some explosions, some nice quality styles going on from an engagement in the interceptor. We also have another shot of maybe the same explosion. I'm not quite sure. But I love the wispy space void wind. Question mark. That's also going on in the background. Excellent. We also have this beam getting shot at and dodging it. Maybe not so great a dodge because I'm seeing some pretty strong damage there. Seeing some pretty strong damage at Geometry Prime. Maybe we need to get some nanobots on that ASAP. And then finally, we got this one. This is a location in the Okar homeworlds. A lot of you guys haven't even seen this yet, and I know that because I've seen the stats for EVERSPACE, and those of you who have the Encounters DLC, it's a low number. You should fix that. And I'm not just saying that because I work for Rockfish and it's like, oh, give me your money. I'm serious. Like the DLC quality, you know, don't even ask me. Ask the community. The community will tell you how insane the Encounters DLC is and how much more of an experience it adds to the base game. It's actually nuts. So I'm just going to shut up because it's not going to feel real for me. I'm going to let the community talk to you about it. But this is one of the new locations in the Encounters DLC, along with the Sentinel, which is an Encounters DLC ship. But you can actually see like these pulsing beams from the Viridium crystal are powering these entire cities on these planets. So really good stuff. So that's from Geometry Prime. Very good works there for you, from you. Thank you for that. Okay, we also have Grindel. Grindel took some shots from EVERSPACE 2. I really like the way that these came out. If it decides to load. We'll see if it loads. Oh, come on, please. Grindel, my boy. What happened to your image? Why won't it load? I'm going to blame my computer, not yours. Will this one load? My computer's thinking long and hard about this, guys. Okay, here we go. We got this one's from EVERSPACE 2. The no loot here, which obviously is a deterrent for people to sneak about. And then, yeah, there we go. Awesome. So this is one of the new space critters in EVERSPACE 2. And I don't know if you can tell where Grindel's hiding. What a cheeky guy. Oh my gosh. But yes, this is a Hydra. And they are an aggressive critter. They're not aggressive yet, but they are an aggressive critter in EVERSPACE 2. And I'm glad to see that you guys are having fun and how we are throwing that down. All right, next we have Jay Gnarl. We got one image from him. I thought it was a pretty solid one from EVERSPACE 1. Cycling around for another pass. We've got him flying past a outlaw scout that's taken quite a beating. And a nice, beautiful, cloudy nebula. So great little shot there. Also love the widescreen. If people are wondering about any type of widescreen support or any type of field of view adjustments, you absolutely will have those in EVERSPACE 2. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. So that's good stuff. Who else we got? We also have Karamshin, who I saw was in chat. I thought this one was just funny. So EVERSPACE 2. Flying directly into a star. What could possibly go wrong? Definitely enjoy that. I love the meme ones. Give me the memes. Give them to me. Did he just say memes instead of memes? Yes, I did. You're welcome, and I'm sorry at the same time. But seriously, throw them at us. Love it. Very much enjoyed that. And we got one more person to highlight, Spudnik. Spudnik from, is this the prototype or from the alpha? I'm actually not sure. Might be from the prototype. Are we gonna do this again? Are we gonna do, come on. Come on. Give me the goods. Give me the goods. Let's try it. Let's start with a different one. There we go. All right. Oh yeah, this is actually from the prototype. But yeah, so some really nice solid angles here. Good stuff. Interceptor, the classic interceptor that's been modified since EVERSPACE 1. It's no longer bound to the colonial military. It's got some own modifications and improvements to it. That's a little bit of a lore drop for you guys. And he's in Union Station over here. We also have the Outlaw Base. Just casually floating there, begging you to come destroy it. Very good stuff. Michael says, so what did I miss? Eric leaked everything. Yeah, every single secret that we had. And also, Michael, you might want to change your credit card. But yeah, it's been good. It's been great. Then we also have this other angle of the, is this the, no. I was almost going to say this is the previous home base, but no, this is the Outlaw Base near the home base. But it's really good stuff too. I think it's all come together really well in these photos. I'm excited for even more tools to hit the action. Oh my goodness, the photo mode in EVERSPACE 2, which I didn't show you guys. I should have. My bad. That was naughty for me not to show you. But we have a wide breadth of controls for taking photos to make your shots look even more crisp. You can actually see some of it used here, where we have depth of field in place. This is the old home base. I think it's fantastic. It's really good. So really good shots from Spudnik. Thank you so much for sharing those in the Discord. Really solid stuff. I love this. Like, this is one of my favorite moments to share with you guys, and just like loving on your skills. Seriously, like I want to see more of this. I say this every week, but I want weird stuff. I want somebody to like carve a pumpkin. I want somebody to like take bites out of an orange and like shape it and mold it into something. I don't know why I'm talking about food, probably because I'm hungry. Like I cut up chicken nuggets and made little ships, okay? If I can do that, you think of the world as your oyster, okay? Get some Play-Doh. I don't know, just like go ham with something. With ham. Find a ham, get a carving knife. But seriously, like, I want to see your talents and abilities too. Like, show us your love for our game, and we're gonna love on you back. Like, it'll happen. It's good stuff. So very, very, very good. Okay, so the last little section that I want to do, let's see, do I have this? Okay, so I have to cycle screens again, so 1 second. But also remember that all of these were shared in the Discord, okay? All of these components. If you're wondering, like, where do I plug in this fan art? Right in the Discord, discord.gg/rockfishgames. There's both a fan art and a gallery. You can post your photos in the gallery. You can post any of the content that you create that's referencing EVERSPACE or EVERSPACE 2 in the fan art section, and we go from there. It's a strong delight, truly. As long as the cursor disappears from Ansel, oh my gosh, yeah, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's see what else. Pop open some more things. Man, we've been cruising through a lot of discussion here. It's been great. So let's see. We already talked about release date. I need a backdrop now. I closed all the pictures you guys had. Let's see what I can find. Let me see what I can find. This will be fine. Okay, so all right, so this will be a nice little backdrop. This is some concept art of a colonial research station. We're really happy with how we've realized this as well. Many of you have seen this. It's actually near a star inside of EVERSPACE 2. Might not be the only one though, so we'll see what else we can drop there. But otherwise, some of the more popular questions that I was able to catalog from the AMA. We already talked about computer specs for those who are getting here late. Long story short, computer specs are pending, okay? It's still 2022 release date, okay? We got a ways. 2022 release date, so things can change. I mean, we even have seen the 3000 series. It's already like changing everything, right? So we'll just have to keep you posted on that. And we want to make sure that the game is operating at the best capacity, even for older machines. Like if we were only making EVERSPACE 2 for the most elite of PC builders, I think that would be a problem. So know that we have not optimized the alpha yet, but in its current alpha step, we can achieve 4K 60 frames per second with an i7 and an RTX 2070 Super, okay? So use that as kind of like your standpoint of now. That can change in the future, right? The next thing to note is that Michael does have a 6-year-old gaming notebook with 16 gigs RAM, an i7 at 2.6 gigahertz, and a GTX 970M, and that still pulls 1080p for 30 frames per second pretty consistently. Our recommended specs, again, pending. I'm putting so much freaking emphasis here because it's important, okay? Like this is not a final. Do not look at these as final specs, okay? But our recommended specs are likely going to be about 16 gigs of RAM, an i7 at 2.9 gigahertz, and a GTX 1080 around that area. That should give a pretty quality settings, pretty quality graphic settings at 1080p at least 30 frames per second. Okay, that's where we're aiming for, what we want to optimize for, so you can really pound out the experience. It's going to look clean, it's going to look really good, and it's going to flow like it's going to. 30 frames per second, I mean, that's kind of like your baseline standard. If you're not reaching that, there's a problem, right? That's what we're aiming for. The overarching goal, like the big goal, we want to hit that super stable, super crisp, clear 60 frames per second at 4K. Wow! And we want to do that with an RTX 2070 Super or the equivalent thereof that is either maxed out on settings or at least at the high graphical settings. Okay, that's what we're aiming for. So just know that that's really what we want to get to. Okay, so another popular question was, what happens when you finish the story? What happens at the end game? What are the plans? And Hans Christian answered this on our PC Gamer AMA, and he said, I think we'll be rather going for more in-game content instead of replayability. It's not a branch storyline where you can miss something by following a certain path. We're planning EVERSPACE 1 style rifts where you can survive a certain number of locations, or even endless high score rift may be possible. So what that means is that we're having a sliver of EVERSPACE 1 plugged into the end game of EVERSPACE 2. You can go through a procedurally generated mission and see how far you get. And yeah. In addition to that, there's also achievements, challenges, side missions, collectibles, looting, obviously, better gear, best ships, biggest hangar, unlock every perk, et cetera, more stuff that we haven't talked about yet. Like there's a lot to the end game that when you reach there, you're not just done with the campaign. Like, well, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. You will be done with the campaign, but you're not done with the game. Like you're going to have much more content to go out and experience. And we hope that you're not going to just play for 20 to 30 hours because there is a lot more stuff that we're working on that you can really immerse yourself into through that if you do take the time to go out and exploring and poking about and figuring out what happens if you join this faction build the reputation with this faction versus if you build it with that other one, or et cetera. Like there could be new pathways that open up that you didn't know about if you go a certain direction, So I also want to make sure that I word this very carefully. This is not a branching paths style of game. It's a very intentional, linearized story arc that you will be experiencing. The exploration value allows you to go off and do whatever you want. That's kind of the branching path section, if you will, where you choose to go here, you choose to go there, you choose to do these jobs for that specific faction, you choose to attack this faction. Those are your decisions. The story is very, give me an objective and a purpose, done and done. Okay. Another big question that we get a lot. Did you ever think of making a new Galaxy on Fire? Michael answers this one very directly, and I want you all to know this, all right? Yes, we made Galaxy on Fire 1 and 2. We absolutely did. It's also not our IP anymore. It's not ours. I'm just cutting it to the chase. We're just nipping that in the bud. It's not ours. Okay? So you can talk about Galaxy on Fire. That's fine, but like that's not who we are now. Like we're EVERSPACE. That's our focus. That's our drive. So it's a definite no. We're not making a new Galaxy on Fire. That's not at all. But probably seems that you've already sensed that some of the good old vibes are still present in EVERSPACE too, maybe as a metaverse. So yeah, I mean, looping that all, giving that push for you guys to know, yeah, that was our baby, but it's not anymore. It's in the hands of somebody else. And we're working on EVERSPACE and EVERSPACE 2, and that's what we hope you're excited about. Next one is, what kind of freedom can we expect on the way we approach missions? Kind of goes in with in-game, but also like that variability of branching path options, if you will. Hans Christian also tackled this one for us. Let me read this one to you guys. You can use the ship of your choice with the equipment of your choice, and you saw the customization in this live stream. I showed you a freaking ton, right? So that's one thing. Sometimes a mission will have a goal that can be achieved in different ways, or it can have optional tasks. So that means we are going to increase the value of the directions you take in the game to complete things differently, right? Just also note that you're not going to have like a Hitman style completion rate where it's like you have 50 different options to do one thing. We're not going that extreme, okay? We never claim to do that. We don't want to claim that because that would be really crazy. Our focus is on that customization though, and we still want to reward you in those unique directions that you take. So there's that push there. So a bit of freedom regarding those choices. I think we got one more question. The question is microtransactions. This is another really big question that we get. Like, is this a free game? Is it a premium game? Is it going to have constant updates and constant, all this type of stuff? Like, is it going to be like a service, a game as a service? So Thorben. I don't actually know which one to go with. Is it Thorbo or Thorben? I need somebody on the team to be like, oh my gosh, you don't even know your team member's name? Look, okay, usernames. Pretty sure it's Thorben. But it's a pay once, play always experience. That's the main point here, okay? It's a pay once, play always experience. That means it's a premium game. You buy it, and then you have it. You don't have to buy this, that, the other thing, another thing, just to get one little sliver of a section of the game unlocked. That's not what we do. We believe at Rockfish Games that microtransactions don't belong in a single player game. Yeah. All right? It's hard to tell, though, if and what kind of DLCs there might be in the future, as we can't even say what exactly will make it into the release yet. Thorben can promise, though, that we aim for the best experience possible at release, and that is absolutely our goal. So we have a 1.0 release in mind. We have our vision. We're seeing your suggestions. We're seeing your feedback, and some of that stuff, you know what? You're inspiring us. You're making us shift around some of our thoughts, and we are making sure we're cultivating this together with you. And we have that dedicated 1.0 release to satisfy not only our vision, but also a bit of yours. And after that step, after 1.0 release, we'll take in a lot of those healthy suggestions that you guys had that we weren't able to realize because we're on the deadline, because we're on that schedule, right? And we will see what we can do for additional content. It could be a very massive expansion again, much like the EVERSPACE Encounters was for EVERSPACE 1. And like that could include, it could include so many different options. It could be entirely new enemies. It could be a new ship. It could be new locations. It could be new equipment. It could be new ship skins. It could be like all of this stuff. Like, and everything I listed there is everything that the DLC for EVERSPACE 1 includes. Like, I'm telling you, it's massive. Like, but we especially don't build any of that out until we get to the 1.0 release, because we're focused on what that needs to be. We're going to get there first. After that, we'll see what we can add to it. We'll see what we can flavor it from our community. We'll make it the best it can possibly be with additional content. Yeah. Sound good? That sound good to everybody? Guys, oh my gosh. This has been such a delight being with you all on the live streams. It's such a delight every single week, if I'm being honest. Like, I love you guys so much. You bring such great emotion and energy, and the questions are great. And your content that you're sharing with us through the Discord especially, oh my goodness, oh, I love it. It's so good. And I hope that you will continue doing this with us as we continue doing our live streams every single week, talking about what we've been up to, and maybe even show you a new teaser area or new mechanic that we've got or whatever. And it should be a really fun, grand old time. Guys, seriously, it has been so remarkable. And you have been awesome. I have been Eric Schrader, the community ambassador for Rockfish Games. I live to serve you guys. Don't stop being awesome. And I will catch you in the next stream next week. Last thing, I'm actually going on vacation next week, so I'm probably not going to be very visible in the Discord, but I know that the team's going to be there and they're going to love what you do and what you show too. So, yeah, excellent. All right. Toodles! I will still absolutely be streaming for you next week. Guarantee it. Friday. I'll see you there. It's going to be lovely. What the heck even is Chef? What are you talking about?